Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is very special because we're going to be talking everything about Scream 2 or Scream II, however you want to call it. So let's get into it. So following the weeks after the first Scream movie that we released came out, even before that, I always planned on having a sequel because of how I wrote the first movie, you know, with the cliffhanger ending of Troy dying. I always knew that there was going to be a sequel. So I wanted to see how this the first movie did when we released it. You know, it started getting views, but we only posted like 5 videos before that, and like, I don't know, maybe 10-15 shorts. So we didn't have like a really big audience, so we weren't expecting huge views from it. But you know, we were like, okay, yeah, we'll probably get more views. So I started planning out the sequel about maybe 2 or 3 weeks after the original Scream 1 came out. Yeah, so we've been planning the sequel even before the first movie came out, but we really didn't start acting on it until after the first one came out. Now, before we wrote the script, we had to get our actors. So we had the returning actors. We had Frankie, Gia, Nico, me, obviously. And then we had to get the obvious new characters like Quinn, Zoe, Carmine, Amanda, Danica, Kian, you know, all those new characters we had to get too. Now, some characters we actually got while we were filming the movie, like after the script and everything. That I'll share later in the video. But for now, it wasn't that hard to get all the actors because, you know, Nico knows people and I know people. So, like, we were able to get people into the movie. So that wasn't really a problem. Now, believe it or not, the very beginning of Scream 2, how the writing started and everything, the first thing I wrote was Danica's death. In the movie, it happens near the end of the movie. So, like, maybe the end of the third quarter of the movie. That was the first scene I ever wrote, and I got inspiration from C.C. Cooper's death, you know, the sorority house and the music and everything when she's running up the stairs and everything. I got, like, the first scene that I wrote for Scream 2 was that scene. C.C. Cooper, we're gonna turn that into our own version of it. Originally, that scene was supposed to be the second death after the opening at a party, but obviously we changed the script and everything because we wrote that like a year ago, maybe even more. Yeah, I'd say a year and a half ago we started writing. That was the first scene that I wrote, and we changed it pretty much. But it still was C.C. Cooper's death in our movie. But we did change. It was originally supposed to be in the beginning, but then we made it towards the end just because of how it was going to work. Now, before we wrote the script, going back to the beginning of it, we didn't really know a logo yet. We were thinking Scream, the sequel, tagline, the sequel. I was planning that in like the summer of 2022. While I was down the show, I was just planning names. We also had Scream 2, and the 2 would be in the background of the Scream, like, you know, title, font, whatever you call it. And then I saw the Jurassic Park logo, and I was like, wait, that's pretty cool. No, sorry. And then I saw the Jurassic World logo with the 3 slash marks, and I was like, oh, that's cool, we can use that. So we came up with Scream, double slash mark to represent 2, I, however you want to say it. We think that was a really cool title. I think you guys like that too. So, and then before we started writing again, we really wanted to make sure that we weren't slacking in this movie. Now, the first one, even if you guys did like it, we always wanted to do better than that, and obviously, we definitely could do better than the first one. Cropping it, color grading it, editing the music. The music sounds very muffled in the first movie because I actually took my phone, played the music, and recorded it on my MacBook. So I didn't, like, literally send the music to my MacBook. I just recorded it from my MacBook from my phone, and that was not, like, the best. I didn't really know how to edit that well because that was, like, the first movie. Those were, like, the first things I've ever done. But I said to myself, I was like, we're going to make this really good. It's going to be longer than just an hour and 4 minutes. It's going to have some really cool details and whatnot, some good character development, some good editing and chases and all that stuff. So that's what I really wanted to make sure that we got even before I started writing. When I just started planning the drafts and, like, you know, the scene orders and whatnot, I really wanted to make sure that this movie was going to be like 10 times better than the first, and it pretty much was. Now, we actually started filming this movie in September of 2022, meaning around a year and a half ago. Basically, I went over to Nico's house that day to film a short teaser for you guys to get excited over, right? And it turns out Gia's friends were there, who were Amanda, Gwen, Danica, Carmine, Frankie, they were all there, right? And it turns out, because they wanted to be in the movie originally, we already casted them and everything before this, but we didn't know when we were going to film. So they were there. So we were like, hey, why don't we film while we're here? Like, we're all here. Like, who we need is here, right? Originally, Danica was supposed to be the lead character in this movie before Quinn signed on to it. Basically, that whole scene, the street attack, I'll put it up for you guys right now. The street attack right there was totally unscripted. That came out of our minds. So, like, we would just continue it and be like, okay, now we're going to do this. Okay, we got that. Now let's find something else. Take 10 minutes to think about it and film this. So, like, that whole scene wasn't scripted. It was just because the actors were there and it was the perfect time to do it. So we ended up filming that scene and it was really good. I'm sure you can all agree. Which was pretty amazing. It was unscripted. We had no idea we were going to do that, and it turned out to be, like, top 10 scenes that so far. And then we started filming all the other scenes through winter, which was horrible. I mean, that was pure torture. Like, our actors, most of the time, like Quinn's attack that I'll put up right now, all that was filmed in like 42, 39 degree weather outside out of school, and the wind. Like, when I didn't have the wind thing on or whatever on my MacBook, or you might even be able to hear it in the scene, the wind was so strong and it was so freezing, and we had bare hands. Well, I had to have bare hands so I could use the camera, so I could operate it, right? Everyone else had gloves besides Quinn too, because she was the actor. So putting the cold blood on her hand after getting stabbed through it, and the cold wind of being out there, we were there for like 2.5 hours filming. It was horrendous. It was terrible. And there were other scenes like that too, like where they're talking on the street, or other things. I'm trying to think. Hillview, the Hillview, that's the school name. That one scene after the opening scene, not where they're at the park, the one after that where they're all sitting at the benches, that was also filmed freezing cold day where Nico and Quinn are talking. That introduces the characters. That was also freezing cold. So there are a bunch of instances where it's freezing cold outside in this movie, and we all try our best not to show it, but afterwards we're freezing and we come home and our hands are like frozen. Now, some of the scenes while we were filming were sort of rushed, not super rushed, but like very minimally rushed, because obviously we didn't have all the time in the world to film at someone's house or something, or they had something to go, or it was getting too cold or something. So we had to like really make sure that we were filming on a tight like schedule and making it good at the same time. The finale scene we filmed over the course of 3 hours. We were supposed to take 1.5 to 2, but it was 3 hours because we got off track, which is fine because that's what we all do. We started looking at yearbooks for some reason. We just got off track completely, but it was really funny. We were all just sitting there joking around in between takes. Like, I have a bunch of bloopers from the finale I'll post and show you guys. It was funny though, but yeah, in between all these scenes and takes, we were all just joking around, playing around, wasting time that we needed to film, but we ended up getting it done. So yeah, that was also cool. Also, the scene after the park scene, after the opening, where it introduces Quinn, Zoe, and Danica, we had to reshoot that scene because I used a microphone on my phone and it turned out it didn't get the audio. So then when I was editing it, there was absolutely no audio. Like, you couldn't hear anything. It was mute. So we had to go back, I think the following day or the following weekend, which delayed some other filming things. We went back and we had to film the entire thing, but it ended up being even better than it was before. Now, also, I want to tell you guys this because I know most of you are really wondering. The opening scene we did not film, okay? I'm going to say it again. The opening scene, we, meaning me and whoever else was there, did not film the opening. We got permission to use it from someone else. I credited them in the credits before the movie, and I'll credit them in the description here. We did not use, well, we used their opening. We did not make it. So I asked for permission. They were like, okay, yeah, whatever, you know. We just asked for permission. They said yes. So we used that because we were actually having a really, really hard time doing this opening scene. Now, explaining why we couldn't film the opening scene. First of all, we had an actor for it, okay? This was September or October of 2 years ago, so around the same time that we filmed the teaser and the street attack that wasn't scripted. Her name was Allie. She was Bart Alazio's sister in the movie. She's Bart Alazio's sister, who's the kid who dies at Cassidy's house in the first movie when me, Frankie, and Bart are like walking through, and then he gets killed by the pool and everything, and then we run away. That is his sister. So he is the one, she's his sister basically. She was getting killed when her parents weren't home. I have the script right here actually. This is the first draft of the script. So yeah, the opening scene, the original one is here. Everything is in here of the opening scene, right? So we were ready to film. We were filming it. I posted on my story, like, "We're coming for you, Allie," or something like that. And then the week of, or the weekend, the day before we film, something happened where they can't film anymore, scheduling. And then a few weeks later, we're like, "Well, can you film?" She ends up not wanting to do it. So then we were left no choice but to find a different actor. When we did, they couldn't do it, and then they didn't want to do it. Okay, so we didn't really know what to do in that situation. We were all over the place for that scene. And this was like, this was all over the place. This was like, I don't know when this was, maybe like halfway through production or something like that. And then we finally find someone, I'm not gonna say who. We found someone. We were so close to filming that night. We got all the props ready, and that night we were so close. And then she cancels and says she can't. And then we try other days, and she can't, and she can't. So, I mean, no hate against her, but like, I mean, I'm sure she was busy and everything, but like, we just couldn't get someone who could film with us right like that. So we didn't know what to do. And then we dressed up Bart as a girl, which was okay. I was gonna use it, but then I was like, I don't know, it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look something that we would do. So I went out of my way, asked for permission to use a different opening scene from a studio, which I will credit below. And they let us, thankfully, thank God, or else I don't know what I would have done. So we used that opening, tied it in to the rest of the movie. Her name's Allie, and we tied that in with the rest of the movie. You know, her and her friend die, as said by Zoe, and then so on. So that's what we did with the opening. But yeah, other than the opening scene and somewhat of the finale, because we didn't film that till like a few days before it released. So like we were like on a 2-year gap right there, and we didn't film it till the very last few days. Other than that though, there was really no problems in the movie. Obviously it can be hard sometimes to get a schedule where everyone can film, especially when they're not like paid actors who can like, that's their job, because you know they have things to do and everything. So it can be hard at times to get them to film, but it works out eventually. Now obviously my movies are not perfect whatsoever. I mean, yeah, they are pretty good, but they're not perfect. I mean, for some instances in Nico's scene or Gia's attack in my house, you can literally see a script right next to the scene where she is in the frame, along with the gallon of blood right next to it. Like, it's there, like you can literally see it. So obviously the movies aren't perfect. There are a few like mistakes that we made, but it's actually pretty funny just to see how obvious of a mistake that was that we didn't even see until I released it. So just seeing the bottle there like that, it's like makes me laugh every time. It's pretty funny. Now we don't usually edit our movies like how it's like an actual like Hollywood or something would. We, instead of getting all the footage first and then editing it, which would have been impossible in our case, every scene we filmed the day of I came home, and I would edit it throughout that week or so on. So every scene we would get, I would just edit it all there. So we have all the scenes edited in case something were to happen or something like that. So I didn't edit it when we got all the footage, because then that would have left us 3 days to edit, or I probably would have edited it before the finale was even filmed. But I edit everything as we go. I don't just collect the footage like that. I think it's safer and whatnot when we're on time constraints and whatnot. Now when I edit, I put the clips and the music and the sound effects together. Some sound effects using iMovie. I put it into DaVinci Resolve afterwards to add in more sound effects, color temperatures, aperture frames, you know, color grading and borders, and like all the aspect ratio stuff, like all the cinematic and like the actual edit stuff I use, because DaVinci can be a little pain when it comes to like adding clips together and some sound effects, but I usually use DaVinci for most of the stuff. Now exporting it to YouTube, I actually didn't finish it until the Wednesday of Thanksgiving break. I uploaded it. It took 3 hours and 40 minutes to format the movie onto YouTube, and then another 50 minutes to upload it to HD and 4K. So it was a pretty long upload. I was actually out to dinner that night with my family from California, so then it was uploading. I got home just in time to see it premiere, and I was there for you guys. I was chatting in the chat. I was a little worried I wouldn't make it home, but I made it home in time to see it. Now with the cast, Quinn did not join until a quarter into production. We didn't really film all like the big scenes with her as the main character. Danica or Amanda were gonna be the protagonists. They were gonna be like sisters, sort of like Sam and Tara. Sorry. They were gonna be the antagonist or the protagonist, or you know, the main characters. Until Quinn came, she auditioned or whatever, we acted for her, and she was like, and we were like, wow, she's a pretty good character. She has really good acting, like really good. So we were like, we're gonna use her. You know, we love all our other actors, but you know, someone's got to be the lead role. So she was the lead role, and we definitely did not make a mistake because she was the best role for that role. And then her sister ends up joining later. I'd say halfway. I'd say probably February of last year, she joined the cast. Vanna joined the cast of Scream 2, which is pretty cool. Now also, we went through really like a bunch of different logos, which I will put up now. We had just Scream 2, Scream II, Scream /mark, which ended up being it. And then we had this one where the slash marks were kind of behind it. And it doesn't even really look that good. But we had a bunch of different options, and then a tagline, Scream the Sequel, which I'll put up. Those are all photos from the doc that I originally had. So it was pretty interesting. It was a very hard choice, but then we ended up going with /mark, which I'm glad we did because it looked pretty cool and simple. Now, after the movie released, I thought it did so much better than the first movie, and I'm sure you can all agree. We have a lot of views on it. We have 1,000 views, and it isn't even a month yet, which is pretty good for our standards. Hopefully we can get to 2, 3, 4, 5, just like the teaser trailer. For some reason, that was the most highly viewed video. This teaser trailer for Scream 2 has like 6 or like 5 something views, which is pretty cool. It skyrocketed. We posted that back on June 1st, I think. I love that trailer so much. Editing that was so cool, and I think you guys liked that pretty much too. But yeah, we knew this was going to be a much more successful movie from the start, and it even is now proven after it released. Now I'm about to talk to you guys about something. Please don't get overhyped with it. I know you guys are excited and wondering, but don't really get too hyper about it, okay? You know, obviously there is thinking from me of a third movie. I'm not saying it much more than that. I'm just letting you know it's out there and it's definitely possible one day. Obviously I want to work on some original things, like my new Red Snow movie that I want to release hopefully soon. It's a short film. I have another short film that I just uploaded this Friday or today if you're watching it whenever. That's also uploaded. I filmed that at a film academy thing in Montclair in New Jersey, which is pretty cool. And then my Bloody Mary movie, which I want to start filming whenever I can. I gotta get the actors for that, production, all that stuff. I already have the script. It's right here. It's like this thick. But yeah, I want to like work on a lot of other original things, like a Star Wars thing me and Nico might do, or whatever it is. I want to work on some things, take a break from Scream. I know you guys love it, and I really do too. It's one of my favorite things to work on. But I want to branch out and explore new things, and I think that's pretty fair to say, and I'm sure you guys can understand. I'm sure you guys are excited for new things, right? I'm sure you guys are. But I'm just saying, this is the only thing I'm saying. It's out there. It's a possibility. I have given it some thought. I have worked on some things. If we were to do it, I have worked on some things already. That's all I'm saying. Don't get overhyped. I know you guys are excited for that because it's just a little announcement or whatever it is. But don't get overexcited for that. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I've worked on some things for it a little bit a while ago. I am a little bit now. But don't get overexcited. It's just a possibility. Well, maybe a little more than just a possibility. But it's out there. It's out there, definitely. Now, also, I don't know how much making merch costs, but that is something I want to look into, how to make merch. I mean, I know how to do it. I've done it for like school projects and things before. I haven't actually bought it, but I want to see and try because I think that's pretty cool. Like you guys can order things and whatnot, and we can wear it and whatnot. I also think that's really cool. So yeah, I want to expand on some things. Definitely want to get this channel out to more things. You know, I'm going to a bunch of film classes, and I will be over the next few years, so I'm getting a lot more experience, which means cinematography is going to be better, editing, writing, all that stuff is going to be much better now. And I know in Scream 2 it really was, like, much better than the first one. But that's just a little step now. We're going to take that even higher. Now, me and my mom were Christmas shopping, actually, and we went to Kohl's the other day, and I have told her about some ideas I have for a third Scream movie. She wants to be in it, as well as my dad. So we saw this like good dress that she could wear, and I took a photo of it, and I was like, I'll save that for in case I need it one day, because you never know. But yeah, that's really it for today, guys. I really hope you guys like this long video that I'm putting together. If you guys have any more questions about the movie or anything behind the scenes or whatever it is, comment below or comment in a different video, whatever it is. I'll be doing a live stream very soon, so you can ask there as well. But yeah, hope you guys like the video, and I'll see you later.